Welcome everyone to Initiate Youth Talks. This is our 5th episode and my name is Chinska. I am an energy policy consultant and the manager of a network called European Energy Transition East Meets West. And I am hosting this series every month where we discuss topics from Eastern Europe and beyond to get those young professionals' perspectives who are actually going to lead the transition in the region. I am today very excited to be here with Denisa from Romania.
Hi, thank you very much for the invitation. I'm also very glad to have this conversation with you.
Lovely. Thank you, Denisa. My first question will be the same as for every candidate. So please tell us a little bit more about yourself, your studies, your area of work, and who you are.
Currently, I'm a policy analyst at Energy Policy Group, which is a think tank specialized in energy and climate policy based here in Bucharest, where I'm particularly following energy efficiency and circular economy policies, but I'm also involved in several other projects that are looking at different aspects of the energy transition. I'm the director of the summer school EPG has been organizing since 2018, and I coordinate the fellowship program developed also within EPG. My background is in political sciences and public policy, which somehow explains my interest and connection with the energy and climate policy. I'm saying this because previous to EPG, my work experience was mainly in research projects concerning political issues such as civic engagement, political representation, electoral behavior. But because the energy subjects made such an impression on me, just after starting to work at EPG, I enrolled myself in an MBA on energy, which I finished last year with a thesis on circular economy in the built environment.
Sounds to me that you have a very solid background to do all of this. It's very nice. And you also seem to have some experience with energy research then. And to my knowledge, you're also a mentee at the Global Women's Network for the Energy Transition. I wonder, Denisa, what is your motivation as a young professional to work in the sector and to make it more sustainable? What brought you here?
Indeed, a very hard question to answer, because at different times in your life you can be inspired by different things and find motivation in various issues. When I first joined the sector, I felt motivated by the very dynamics of the field. The energy sector is a fast-changing sector, so I focused on enhancing my knowledge and develop myself professionally. But on a more personal note, what I find fascinating nowadays about the energy sector is the way in which manages to put young people, future generations, at the very center of its debate. And it's very empowering to feel that your voice matters. And young people are central to the energy transition, and their ideas and inputs should be heard and taken into consideration, since all this transformation that we want to achieve is directed towards a better future that includes them too. Going back to your mention regarding my involvement in Global Women's Network for the Energy Transition, I was very happy to find this community that works at addressing the current gender imbalances in the energy sector, because unfortunately the energy sector remains one of the least gender diverse sector, a sector where closing the gender gap can be crucial for the energy transition, since women are key drivers of innovative and inclusive solutions. And I think we also need to understand the one important thing, that this is a joint struggle. The energy transition, it's something that we need to achieve together, and we also need men to be supportive and responsive to the gender bias and women's discriminations too.
I couldn't agree more. This is a very nice cause that you also mentioned with the women's and youth inclusion. Now back a little bit to your home country, which is Romania. how well do you think Romania is progressing with stringent, well, mostly EU-led EU energy and climate goals? And what are the biggest challenges in Romania to overcome in order for the country to decarbonize?
In terms of goals and targets, we are not performing significantly bad. There has been progress on several energy and climate related issues, but of course there are a lot more to do. Many of the remaining problems can be resolved with more political willingness and a stable regulatory framework. Others can be tackled by deploying the clean energy technologies that we already have, as well as develop and scale up the innovations we will need to reach net zero emissions by 2050. But the pattern that I see here when listing all these issues can be translated in one major challenge that I do think Romania has to overcome, namely the lack of long-term strategic vision. And let me give you the example of the Recovery and Resilience Plan submitted by Romania at the beginning of June. And as it was designed, the Recovery and Resilience Plan generally represents a good basis, a good tool for long-term strategies with good foresight and structural objectives. Unfortunately, most of the measures in the Romanian plan are oriented towards short-term solutions by including investments already planned or already covered by existing European funds, and continuing existing policies. While actually these documents should have been the expression of a systematic rebuilding of the whole economy in Romania.
The lack of a long-term vision is indeed a problem. Very good that you mentioned this. But then I see that Romania is still on track, so we're hoping to see some more efforts. Now it's also important, as we know, that energy transitions happen in a just way, so that communities reliant on polluting industries, just like mining and other coal-related activities, are not left behind. Romania has some good pilot projects in my knowledge for the just transition. Can you tell me about these a little bit?
You're perfectly right. It is crucial for the coal-dependent regions to be offered help in their transition. And to answer your question, for instance, I have in mind a project initiated by RVA, which is the Romanian Wind Energy Association, where miners are being retrained as technicians to fix wind turbine blades. And dozens of technicians have been schooled and now work in wind farms in Romania and abroad. And they do intend to continue this project and extend the school facilities to the Jiu Valley, as the first phase of the project happened in Constanța, where most of the wind farms are located. And apart from that, I would say that equally important are the studies, the analyses, the reports that help decision makers and policy makers better understand the economic potential of these regions, of the coal-dependent regions, and find local initiatives that can support the reawakening of the local economy.
Yes, indeed. I hope we can then look to Romania in case of other coal-dependent countries also to carry out these projects. This is my last official question. Now I have one extra question also for you, as for everyone else. I wonder if you have a favorite tool, which could be a technology or a policy instrument or anything else which you think is very helpful in the energy transition, and especially maybe applicable to the Romanian case.
I have a policy background, so I'll go for the policy, of course. And I'm very confident in the potential energy efficiency policies have. They can play an essential role in accelerating clean energy transition by decreasing the energy demand and thus making it easier to decarbonize the energy supply. And luckily, there is social acceptability for this kind of measures in Romania. People are aware of the economic, social, and health benefits of increasing energy performance of their buildings, for instance. Public authorities are keen on investing in energy efficiency renovations, for example. However, we need to be aware that a single policy cannot be effective in bringing all the necessary transformation for achieving climate neutrality, and it always needs to be complemented by additional measures.
Thanks a lot for your very valuable insights and all the information you gave us on Romania. And yeah, I'd happy to speak to you soon. And thanks for participating in the series.
Thank you very much, Tim. Thank you.